Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the commentary desk for the second time today. It's our second game out of 3. Well, second set out of 3 today. Where it is.
What?
Oh, come on, man.
I thought you were going to do...
Week 4, day 2.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. You do that. I don't even know what day it is.
Season 2.
What is it, Sunday?
It's Saturnalia Day, the day we celebrate Saturn.
All right, so we're going to have Legion of Carrots show here. Let's start with the North American standings before we jump into the game today. As you can see, Cloud9 still rocking that 8-0 tag.
Wow.
Cognitive and Enemy still riding the bottom here at 0-6.
So, Denial. Denial, Eager, Legion of Carrots, all squared at 3. We're going to see that shaken up today. It's Denial versus the Carrots is the games we're bringing you. Generally speaking, of the 3-3 teams, who's the best team?
I would say it would probably be Eager. Rumor is, though, that this weekend they'll not be playing with Aurora, who, in my opinion, has been the key to their success. In fact, all 3 teams at the 3-3 will have subs. Salt Machine coming out this weekend for Legion of Carrots, going to be replaced by their sub Plaid Girl, who personally I think is the stronger player. Well Plaid, not Plaid Girl. Well Plaid.
On the other side as well, though, Bronx Bombers being replaced by Madman Mark, but
which again is a step up to me. I mean, that was their original Hunter player.
Yeah, if nothing else, they shouldn't have too much synergy work to do to get him communicating and working with the boys. Yeah, if you don't recall, it was that Madman Mark Hunter for Denial in Split 1.
But Eager actually is bringing someone up from the minors, I think
from High Five.
From High Five,
yeah, the
right?
Support for High Five.
That's pretty crazy.
That's reaching.
Yeah, I mean, it's Polar Bear and Mike, and while I have seen him play, he's a good player. The issue is he's replacing Aurora, who I think is, like, absolutely world-class, right? Aurora is a player that can compete with the likes of Jeff Hinla and Incon and Trix Tank, right? Polar Bear and Mike, very big shoes to fill, but that's going to be tomorrow, not today.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you never know, right? We've seen players come up. I mean, Bronx Bombers and Madman Mark, beginning of this last season, were in that same boat, so...
It's true.
We'll see. True. Maybe it will be an improvement. Maybe not. Aurora, very good player, but once a fat chunk, always a fat chunk. Not going to be part of Team Fit Eager, I guess.
I was going to say, unless you're now AFK, because Cyclone's doing just fine. Picks and bans, or wait, picks and... Peas and Bees?
Peas and Bees.
Peas and Bees. Peas and Bees. Legion of Carrots going up against Denial Esports. Again, these teams are 3-3. They might turn into 4-4. It might be a 5-3. We're going to find out here. We're going to start with the ban from Denial of Sylvanas, which is extremely confusing to me.
Yeah, that's Shadowcue's Bay.
This has been the key to their success.
It's his main squeeze, if you will.
Honestly, I love that ban, because that means if Denial's banning this, they're finally going to switch something up.
Oh, yeah. I'll push. Bye-bye.
Good.
We forgot about him.
I could, of all the mid laners in the world, I could see Mace abusing that character more than anyone else.
But would his heart be in it?
Already? We're going to do that already?
Second ban pending from Denial here. Cirque banned away.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Pern plays the Cirque, but banning the Isis, that's a little confusing to me because they love to play that Cabrakan so much. Give them the Isis, play the Cabrakan, good matchup.
Fine, but it's Mace, right? Are they going to first pick it? Because Mace would have first picked it, and they first picked hi-rez, Bologna, Athena, so this is still on the table.
This is Cabrakan +1, right, for Legion?
It could be. We know that Shing loves it, so taking Cabrakan away could be a very big swing.
Well, Pern loves it too.
That's what I'm saying. Like
between the two of them, there's a lot of love, but no, they'll pick the bots.
Which could go either way. We know that Plaid Girl likes it in the solo as well.
Does he? Well Plaid, you mean?
Well Plaid. His name is Plaid Girl.
Yeah, Neith making it through the picking phase.
Yeah,
kind of been the consummate first pick so far this split.
Generally, because while she's maybe not a better hunter overall than hi-rez, she plays 3 roles at like top level.
Yeah, 80% win rate in the solo lane for Neith, I believe.
That's extreme.
Yeah, she actually is pretty deficient as a hunter. She's only winning like 30% of her games as a hunter, but she's winning like 80 as a solo.
And what about mid?
Mid was like 50-50. Like it was like it's not bad necessarily, but
those are good stats.
It appears that she's a better mage than she is a hunter.
So if you add those all up together, she has like 140% win rate.
It's something crazy like that, yeah.
Jeez.
Every time she wins, she actually wins twice.
Janus and Geb locked in. Geb, a character we've been seeing a lot more of lately. Maybe that Stone Shield really getting a lot more value in the later parts of Split 2. Janus gets locked in. Global Ultimates are great. Legion of Carrots agrees as they lock in Athena.
Yeah, the bans are very odd here. We don't see really Sylvanas the only quote-unquote really top-tier god band out here. Isis is matchup-based. I suppose you can call Cirque that as well. Outwash purely speculative.
I go back to the fact that Isis is Mace's best god, and Outwash doesn't have... I don't think people have enough experience against the god where most people consider him to be pretty strong. If he's not very strong, they don't have the experience to really make that claim, especially against Mace, who loves to break this game.
Bologna banned away by the Legion of Carrots. Denial with their final ban as well. But, I mean, based on kind of the preference in the meta and the value of the pick as most teams assign to them, Legion is by far winning this draft. Hunbots, Neith, Athena, all very desirable. Xbalanque, Janus, Geb, all gods that you can kind of reach down for and get in the later stages. Let's take Apollo as well. So drafting, Apollo feels to me like the Neith Apollo both are probably the two best hunters you would want for running more than one.
Right, I agree.
You don't necessarily need the both of them, but you would want one of them to be part of your two, and the two of them together is great.
Neith's early game is amazing. Apollo's late game is amazing. That's exactly what you would want. And in a rather strange, universe scope here, as Thor somehow makes it all the way through the picking phase until like the final pick for Denial here. He's going to be locked in for Xing, and to the solo lane, we will actually see Vamana go.
So yeah, what'll be the second frontliner here for Legion? They're going to need to pick something.
Sobek's still available, something that we've seen.
They could put. Okay. So but still no real hand tipped here to exactly how they're going to run this. You can be sure that Neith is going to be mid lane based on the composition. I doubt we'll see Apollo go there again. That means Apollo is likely your hunter, with Sobek your solo, and Athena your support. But that Athena could be jungling. There's actually a lot of options here.
The flex picks are through the roof. That is a completely ambiguous team. Aside from the fact that with that team, Hunbots will likely be jungle, it's hard to place anyone else, really.
Yeah, it seems unlikely that he's not the jungle, but it could be Athena solo, Hunbots jungle, Sobek.
We don't have to speculate anymore, Bart.
We know. Now we know. As we move into the game, Denial Esports versus Legion of Carrots is game number 1 in a 2-game set between the two mid-seeded North American teams. The left side squad, they are in the blue chunks, bottom side of the minimap. On the left side of your spectator UI, it's Baskin to the face as Vamana in the solo lane for Denial. Xing will be jungling as Thor. Mace of the face, Janus in the mid lane. Shadow Q and Madman Mark duo laning as Geb and Xbalanque. We're going to see the pluck. We will see the pluck. But clear the path should be enough here. The root comes out, but it doesn't matter.
Beautiful
Taunted out nicely. One more shot will do it, and that's a first blood for your boy Panda Cat, who, that's a great start for your Apollo. Let's take a look at the rest of the roles, though. It's well played on the side of Legion and Carrots, who is in the red trunks, in the sub role, top side of minimap, right side of your spectator UI, and he will be piloting the Sobek in the solo lane, Pernicus in the jungle as bots. Aduro, formerly of Dig fame, now simply one of another Carrot in the bundle. Now in the mid lane is Neith, Pandavion and Panda Cat dual laning. Of course, is Athena and Apollo.
So I was going to start my analysis with how amazing I think Baskin is, especially with how little competitive experience he's had going into this, but it feels like it would fall a little bit short. As he
gained a little bit of experience there, didn't he? Not in the game, but in life.
I was going to say the rest of Legion did, though.
Yeah, they got plenty of experience with splitting that kill. You can see 4 assists and 1 kill credited to the team there.
It was a good invade. And what's funny is I said to the production boys today, I'm like, yeah, we got Denial coming up against Legion. He goes, yeah, who's going to invade harder?
Yeah.
And it looks like it's going to be Legion, at least for the first game.
Well, that was kind of my expectation as well when we were talking about this game was these teams play a very similar style. But Denial's drafted a little bit away from their typical style.
That's true. Usually massive amounts of aggression, but global seems to be the name of the game. If you count Thor as a global here, you're looking at 6 global ultimates given Thor, Janus, Xbalanque. Across the board, you're going to have Neith, Athena, Apollo. So it looks like map control really, really favored in this game today.
Well, I mean, true globals on the side of Legion there.
That's true.
Thor stretch, Xbalanque nowhere near the impact that... Well, I suppose it could be, but it's nothing like an Athena ultimate.
That's fair. Athena's just like, I get to be at Gold Fury again, which is great.
It's more akin to Neith's, except for it doesn't do damage, but it does force a target to stop.
That's true. Athena's probably being the most relevant, though, because Geb cannot rotate to solo lane freely, because at that point she risks giving up the Gold Fury. Whereas Athena can just walk over there for free and be like, hey, I'm going to go back and get this as well as this kill, and it's going to be wonderful. My team's now ahead by 1,800 gold.
The last time I saw Legion of Carrots, though, Pain did struggle a little bit here. Xing's going to turn the corner into 2. The root from Maduro is going to be what makes this happen. Not going to be there in time, but now we'll get the slow into Mace. Mace, he only has an awkward portal back. He'll take it, but not before getting smacked around a bit. A lot of damage dealt there by the boys of Legion.
I'm always just caught off guard about that specific portal and how far it sends you. That's like straight up 2 jumps. It's a 110-foot leap. And Mace, luckily, gets out of that one. They can't really afford to drop another kill here. Legion of Carrots is known to snowball very heavily, and they've done well with their gold in the early game, keeping that 500 gold lead and using it to rotate quickly. Remember, the first kill did go to Apollo, which is a pretty significant amount of experience, and now they're trying to use this time to push away. But remember, recent patches have reverted the change from a 60-foot experience range back to 80, so it's not like Xbalanque was losing anything there.
Yeah, it's fairly difficult to zone someone out of experience range. You really got to have them basically behind their tier 1 tower.
Yeah, it's nigh on impossible.
Yeah. Indeed, indeed. But 2.5 minutes into this one, still just the first blood on the board here. Panicat, well, they're not necessarily playing very aggressive over here, even with, well, as I say that, they're going to go in and
nice
make the play. Shielding away that stun and a bit of damage on a Madman Mark. But he's definitely not the happiest camper here in this lane, as it's going to be level 5 for Athena, nice and early. She'll have a great rotation to the mid camps with that ultimate available to then make a play to follow it up. And Legion of Carrots with really a pretty substantial positioning advantage currently as the mid camps come up in the next 4 seconds. Baskin's pulled over as well. This right side looks like where the contention's going to be. No, they're going to let it go. Both camps going the way of Legion at the 3-minute mark.
A little strange to see Mace even trying to contest that. He saw 2 people walk over there who were going to have at least Hand of the Gods available to them in their kits. There was no real reason for him to even try to watch that unless he was going to make some kind of effort. Baskin-Robbins also kind of throwing himself into the mix, rotating out and missing a creep worth of experience, which isn't going to help him much, but well played here, still level 6. Neither team in a massive advantage at this point, but Legion is doing, I think, a pretty damn good job of making sure that that small lead they gained in the beginning continues to be increased.
I'm looking at Pern here to make the plays. Level 6 on the Hun bots, very, very early boots completed with that extra gold from that early assist on the first blood, plus those mid camps picked up. Can he use this to his advantage? You can see no one else with completed boots on the map. He has the movement speed advantage, and Hun bot's a character that really can make use of it quite nicely. 4 minutes, the camp's going to be coming back up a little bit after, in fact, about 4:15. Will it be another invade coming out from the Legion of Carrots?
For me, it's up to Pern to maybe not avoid fights, but choose his fights very carefully. With Xing having Thor, his early game is obviously going to be superior. It would be maybe not lucky for Pernicus to find a kill over Thor, because Fear No Evil, of course, is an amazing ability. But late game, Humbot's going to be so much more effective than Thor just from a damage perspective. So if they can just stale this out, just wait it out for as long as possible, Pern will be a really good position in the end game to set his team up for kills, controlling team fights massively. Remember, Thor, damage starts to wane a little bit comparatively to Humbots, who starts to get the crit online, swing really hard.
Well, yeah, it's just the difference between heavily ability-based damage and passive crit. Not to say that Hunbots doesn't have great ability damage to that.
No, it's true. I mean, overhand smash swings very hard. Sacred Monkey Toss is actually a great amount of harass in the end game as well.
Yeah, it's a nice poke. Safe, very safe as well. You don't give much up for it. It's not really a reliable escape by any sense of the imagination. It's pretty safe to toss it out there.
Although I am kind of surprised now, talking about maybe early pressure from Pernicus, that there hasn't been an attempt on the duo lane. Xbalanque, notably one of the easier hunters to gank. I mean, of course, Rising Jaguar is a pretty incredible escape. Catching him off guard, maybe off of a washed rush from the Apollo, could be really good. Not to mention Mez, the Serenade, can shut anything down lightning fast. It's an instantaneous ability.
Stupid ability.
So Pernicus...
Stupid Paulo.
I'm so excited that he's back, and then I play him for play against him 2 games in a row, and I'm like, oh, I did not miss this.
Yeah,
what was I
actually, I didn't miss this, in fact.
Surrender vote has started. That first blood really taking the toll, I guess.
Knowing these teams, it's like Xing missed the last hit. It's like, oh, we're going to have 6 guys.
Not that
Xing has a voice that deep at all, but...
Sometimes, though, I respect that from Xing. I like that. Things aren't going perfectly, let's just start over. And if this was a 2 out of 3 set, maybe that would have went through, but there's no 2 out of 3. These aren't technically matches at this point. It's just like a set of 2 games.
Set of 2 games, that's correct. Well, mid-camp's coming back up.
Mace
not
has
much
a
has
line
happened
this time.
in between the spawns.
No, not at all. It's been a very, very passive game. This time, they'll at least split the camps. Right side going to red, left side going to blue.
Small victories.
Right, Denial kind of finding a little edge there. But no Gold Furies yet. It's basically just been how fast can we clear the jungle, like on all sides, but maybe that'll change. Pernicus.
We have 5 aggressive stacking reset items in the match here.
Wow.
Vamana electing to go for that Heartseeker.
4 Heartseekers in a Doom Orb.
Yeah.
That's my new band name.
I mean...
Oh, Pernicus taking a lot of trouble.
This fight that happens at the second spawn of the the third spawn of the buff camps and the third spawn of the gold fury, or the mid camps, so about that 8 to 9 minute period, that's when the fight's going to break out most likely, and that's when we're going to see a big swing in terms of damage potential from the teams. And Denial, the most risky of them all here, with their 3 stacking items. They really can't afford to lose that fight.
You know, I talked a little bit before about how maybe Legion should wait out to the end game, but I want to change that because if you look on the side of Legion, they have too much physical damage and no magical damage. They're relying on Sobek and Athena for magical damage. So items like Witchblade, Midgardian Mail, Frostbound Hammer, very, very relevant right now. What we're going to need is Humbots needs to maybe even build
building
some,
those items?
I mean, on the other side, you got an Athena, you got a Vamana.
Well, Vamana's already built a Heartseeker, so he's got to build boots into a defensive HP-based item.
Right, Midgardian Mail would do fine there.
In a soul lane versus Sobek.
That's true. He could go into Frostbound Hammer. It's just static health, which never really hurts.
That's true.
But then again, the more health, not always
not
the
that
better.
Midgardian Mail doesn't have more health on it than Frostbound, but...
No, Midgardian does. I think Midgardian's 200, Frostbound's 4.
It's a 300 HP.
Is it 3?
Who cares?
Frostbound's 4,
Thor's
though.
up looking for a game.
Crazy.
Xing, he's going to dunk on Pain to Beyond, and then...
Jeez.
We call that play the pon-pon.
And then... I guess Mark's like, wow, they're going in. I guess I'll ult too after Xing jumps away, not hearing, I guess, the audible. Maybe it wasn't called. The passiveness continues here into the 8-minute mark in a very European style of play.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what's crazy is when we see the European games where they don't get kills for 20 minutes at a time, they're like fighting a lot.
Exactly.
No one's dying. This game is just like...
No one's fighting.
I think both teams are known as such snowball-heavy teams.
But here we go. This is likely to be an engagement. Denial wants to aggress into this. They're going to blink forward with Shadow Q.
Hand is low.
CC chain onto Panic, and he is going to go down to the dot from Madman Mark. That's the second blood of the game going side of Denial. A second kill coming out as well. But now the equalizer from Perm. But he's stuck under Gold Fury, taking a lot of damage, able to leap over. Mark will pick up the aggro with a Razzing Jaguar. It ends up being a 2-for-1 exchange. Shadow Q
not done yet.
Dead for a Duro, and Panda Cat off the mark with Unstable Vortex over at Smash.
Why would he even attack there? Just keep juking.
Now you're dead. And he's going to give the kill to Mark as well. He actually should have just let himself die to Janus, knowing that the Xbalanque was coming in.
Yeah,
That's another stack of damage to Xbalanque. I believe he picks up 2 kills in that engagement. And the extended 3-for-1.
Legion
and a Gold
finds
Fury
one.
as well. Denial has just broken this game wide open.
Legion finds 1, but Sobek can rotate over here. Even so...
Hey!
Oh, God! Xing with the wall! He's in there, though. Pain steals it.
They still got it.
And Pain... Oh, my God! They just picked up 2 kills. Oh, wow.
Maybe they were just talking about the wall like we were. Just got blown up.
Xing's like, I'm the man. Everything's great.
Yo,
and
look
then,
at this wall that I did just like a second too early. Damn it.
Oh, my God. And then suddenly taunt into shield wall. Legion of Carrots somehow salvages a rather foolish fight to begin with.
So Pain gets that, right, with the Hog 3.
Was it even a Hog 3? Like, he could have walked in there with an auto attack and stole that at
Yeah,
itself.
I think it was Hog... I think so. What's curious about it is that it's on a 30-second cooldown, right? Is that...
No, well, I mean, it's been 30 seconds.
Right, but on the other side, Shadow Q's Hog is on a longer cooldown by like 10 seconds. When did he use his? Just to clear minions in the left side lane?
Maybe he... No, because Shadow Q died in the engagement. Perhaps he tried to just use it to get the steal. Maybe he just did it a bit early. Because he got the Cataclysm off, hit
it would
the
have been later.
shockwave.
It's on a longer cooldown.
All I know is
Pain's.
that was a very messy
So he didn't even use his
for both
Hog
sides.
during... He was locked out, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to assume. But either way, I mean, they
or
get
maybe
it.
he ranked. Maybe he only had the rank 2 going into that. More likely that, I guess, and then built the level 3 when he went back.
Now we did the prediction show, and you picked Denial. I mean, right, for both games. As did I. I mean, this is pretty unexpected. The First Blood's really doing a lot for them, and that engage. Spirit. No.
Hey, but the shotgun. Feeling their evil beat.
Yeah,
Shotgun. GG. Mesa face playing that rather nicely, forcing Hunbots. Well, not necessarily forcing it, but forcing him to use the ultimate if he wants to live, and then just beating it. So.
That's always one of the
Basically,
worst situations to be in as a jungler. You're low health, your solo had to go back, you have to get the experience, you don't really have escapes left, and then Mace's play there was beautiful, using the beads right away, throwing down the shotgun to make sure he gets the kill, sending him back to the base for an extended period of time will do well, because considering Xing was behind, he wants to make sure that he can get Xing as much farm as possible, still level 11 right now. Mace, though, 3-man splitting these camps, a little bit curious considering they do need to get Xing back in this game a little bit. DJ Pernicus, even with that extended trip back to the base, still a level ahead.
Well, it's also it's Beads 3 purchased out by Xing's Thor, and just the Beads 1 coming up from Hunbot. So Jotun's Wrath already available for the Monkey God. Thor going to be a bit behind in terms of his CDR. So it's advantage Legion of Carrots still, even with that death.
Going into the 12-minute mark here. Xing doing his best to catch up. He's going to take a trip back to the base here. Player damage, though. Wow. Okay, Madman Mark on top is Xbalanque. 4,200 damage. Has 2 stacks, no deaths right now. And, you know, I hate to bring up any negativity, right? You know, Bronx Bombers has done pretty well for Denial this season, but Madman just continuously showing why he was such a core part of this roster. I'd be a little worried if I was Bronx.
You think they'll try to re-recruit Madman Mark?
That's what I'd be doing. I mean, look at the way he's played this game. He started this pretty far behind, considering the fact that he was in this lane against the person who had to kill to start as one of the weakest early game gods. Right as I say it, commentator's curse playing big time. Oh, he's just barely alive. Spirit gun going to be used.
This is going to be
he's through. He's through.
Great play. That's all to the credit of Mace of the Face there. But the fight continuing on. Geb Cataclysms 3. Going to try to run away. AZ realizes he's the sacrificial lamb here, and he'll take the spill. Shadow Q goes down, but it's good enough to save.
Oh, Shing, what are you doing there, buddy?
Hunter, Shing through the wall. No Apollo ultimate this time to follow it up. That's going to be it for the moment.
I'm very surprised to see Shing go back into that. And it's very curious to me to see Shadow Q in that engagement at all. I mean, at that point, he got the shield off. He should have just left. He didn't really need to save anybody else. Everyone else had their wits about them. Shadow Q overstayed that. Maybe not trusting in his team enough, or maybe the audible wasn't called. Either way, he puts himself in a bad position. He goes down again, and Denial continues this streak downward as almost 4,000 gold in the lead here is Legion off of that tower game.
So let's oh, well, maybe an engagement here. Madman Mark wants to fight.
Beautiful.
It's a nicely placed wall, and it will be enough for the kill there.
And that's the third stack for Xbalanque. 15 passive damage now added to the kit.
Yeah, while Legion is doing quite well here, 3,000 gold is definitely the very kind of extreme low end for, I would say, about how far you need to be, considering that it's 3 kills already in Xbalanque. It may not be enough even, right? That's going to be the thing, and this Xbalanque is going to become very, very powerful later on in the game. But I do want to point out something that's a little curious here in the itemization. Looking at Baskin to the face, we were saying, likely to be some kind of HP-oriented anti-attack speed item to help deal with the double hunter. It's going to be a rune forge. So, it feels a little bit suboptimal given the double hunters, but it will provide a lot more survivability than the Witchblade or Frostbound would, but Midgardian still seems so valuable. I guess it's just too expensive to buy that luxury item going up against a magical solo laner. Runeforge is very cost effective, but will it play out into these hunters being able to run a little bit rampant in the, once these lanes truly break and the teamfight phase breaks out, without that anti-attack speed or on-hit effect from Vamana?
See, for me, this is kind of the difference between the mid-seeded teams and the top-seeded teams. Like, if this was Zalia's Vamana, we would have a very inherent and brilliant build coming out to really offset the weaknesses. Hammer or attack speed boots. Right, just something to really shut down the enemy team. For this, while Baskin's an incredibly talented player on a mechanics from a mechanics perspective, it seems to me like he is playing a normal ranked cookie-cutter Vamana build, picking things that most Vamanas will build in most situations.
I tell you, I would have liked to seen a Silver Talisman start probably out of the Vamana.
Yes.
Pestilence makes a lot of sense in this game. Sobek gets some heal in the lane. It'll help shut that down a bit if you want to itemize into it. But Silver Talisman, very, very cost effective for the stats, the magical defense and HP you get. Pern wants to make the play on a Shing. He's going to do a lot of damage, and the Neith ultimate likely to be enough. No, Stone Shield is there, but over the top comes Pern. They'll use the Athena ultimate as well. He's going to try to play aggressively. He's feign aggressive here to try to make himself some room to get out of this one. Madman Mark, there's the ultimate coming in. Apollo to the backside. He wants to play on Janus, but I don't think that's the right target to try to fight at this point. There's a kill coming out for Baskin to deface. Pern is down and out of this fight, and now the big baby comes out. He held that for so long. Sobek ultimate shrugged off. One more stomp. Down goes Panic Hat, even with the Aussie proc, and a double kill for Baskin. A little bit of extra physical power coming out of that Runeforge. Well, I guess he doesn't even have that yet.
No, not even yet. Well, he does get it because of the passive, of course.
And it just his kit works, right?
Aduro by himself there, going to get picked off. Not sure what he was planning there, or if he even maybe called the sack. Strangely, Pain to Beyond with maybe not a lot of health, but for a support, especially with what he's building, definitely should have stuck around. He basically wasted the Sovereignty passive.
We've seen this play before.
Yes, we have, but no one is anywhere near them this time.
That's right, and Madman Mark has quite a bit of extra damage, 15 bonus power, plus the 50 out of the Heartseeker with his base 30, and now an Aussie as well. He's got 40% of bonus attack speed, and just Buku power, 80 power out of that Heartseeker, plus the 15. It's 95 from one item in his passive, so he's hitting plenty hard to take a gold Fear, nice and early. Purple buff adding to that as well. And you can see that the gold lead has been completely negated for Denial, and they've taken the experience lead. That's what kills do in this game. Lots of experience, modest amount of gold. World keeps on spending.
So, talking about itemization, once again, we are seeing the Heavy Hammer come out. That's going to be the Frostbound. Huge swing going to be there.
Very standard build.
My big issue here is that Wellplaid has opted into an uncommon sash. Now, this is, or rather now a golden sash. This is more than likely
It's an E-staff.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be an E-staff. The issue here is that this is not the item he needed. What they really needed was a Divine Ruin. You got to shut down that baby healing. You have the Aussie passive online as well. Like, there needs to be some kind of healing reduction.
Oh, they're gonna get the weakening curse for Athena,
right? But that could have been a shell.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of the big question is like the opportunity cost of building the ethereal staff, right? Your Sobek all of a sudden becomes impossibly tanky, infinite mana, the cooldown reduction out of the breastplate as well.
Let's bring up the damage done. Let's see how Sobek has really been, I guess, affecting these team fights. Damage done charts, please.
Hey!
Yeah, I mean, really, really
he's
low
put out
damage.
3-8, but
does he need to be that much more tanky?
He can't really trade effectively with Vamana at this point anyway. Yeah, I think the Divine Ruin's a fine item here. I think you're right. Sickening Strike plus Divine Ruin is basically complete shutdown on healing.
It's 90% shutdown, which is huge deal. 90% shutdown for, 4 seconds, and then another 40 completing to 8. Mace,
what?
You greedy guy!
What are you doing?
Are you even playing the same game that we're watching?
No, I think he was just expecting that the Hunbots was going to try to rally back and fight there.
He did!
Well, not him. Trying to go back into the mid lane. He was trying to sneak behind him. Pern now forced to leap out of this one. The pursuit is out from Baskin-Robbins. Knock up. Doesn't get there, doesn't need it. Just one more in hand. Well played. Doing what he can to disrupt this fight, but not really that effective. Madman Mark found a solo kill on a Panda Cat just inside the purple buff there. Baskin in the face continues to just run and have his way here. Now in the big baby form. Well played. He finds himself a kill as well, but it's a 2-for-3 trade. You got to think that one probably should have been a 2-for-1. Mace in the face. A little silly there, but the most important part of this is that Madman Mark solos down Panda Cat and will take his tier 1 and yet another wave. It's the fourth stack of power for hi-rez, and it doesn't, I mean, at this point now, it's even though the gold is ever so slightly in favor of denial, that bonus damage on hi-rez is going to be paying massive dividends later on in this game. It's much more one-sided than it appears, I think.
You see Shadow Q walk into the tower here with the shield instead of letting the creeps tank it. Very, very smart, because most of the damage that he took there was close to irrelevant, right? You're going to take 150, 200 health off a Geb. Not a big deal, but keeping the creeps alive to make sure Shin can stay in there for as long as possible while trading off the damage to the creeps from max range. Absolutely beautiful play there to make sure they got another tower off of that. Legion really losing hold of this game. It once was a 3,000 gold advantage, has turned into a 3,000 gold disadvantage in favor of denial.
It's just not enough. That 3,000 wasn't enough. And it's not even hi-rez's late game that's going to be the problem. It's just they got Vamana'd. I mean, it's just so surprising this god ever fell out of favor, considering how effective he is, especially against teams, these mid-level teams. I mean, he's so great in this bracket of play.
See, I don't think that the character's super strong right now. Talking to Cyclone Spin, who is probably the best solo laner right now on the circuit, period, agrees 100% and thinks the character's weak, doesn't offer enough. But when people are going to play multiple hunters into you, I mean, it's just the best way to do it. He's so tanky. Pernicus in some trouble. Cleaned up by Baskin. A little bit early on the ult there is Plaid Girl, but he'll find 3 with it guaranteed. But still, no damage.
I think, you know, only really the fights continue on here. Well played. He's surrounded by 3. The old Warcraft 3 surround, not trying to give him a way out with the charge prey, and it will be successful. Yet another kill for Madman Mark, and yet another tally onto that passive for hi-rez. But back to the Vamana. I think that in a lot of ways, only the really the top teams in the world are playing very, very effective kind of assassins that can deal with Vamana. Like the things that beat Vamana traditionally in the solo lane, either it's the lane gets stalled out and he can't get enough momentum.
Shing.
The Thor initiation, very aggressive here. Duro trying to make his way out.
And again, huge wall going to stop Pain from being able to help the team. Baskin going to go up into the ult to make sure this tower goes down. 1,500 gold.
But anyway, Vamana counters are a little bit more difficult to play than I think the average god. And when you're not talking about the top 1 or 2 teams, maybe 3 teams in the region,
right?
They don't necessarily have those gods in the god pool that really shut down Vamana, right? Like, they're not picking the Chronos into Vamana comfortably.
And especially when Vamana... See, now Vamana's starting to get the build correct, right? We got the Frostbound Hammer online. It's going to do a lot of damage, reduce attack speed, which is a big thing. He's fighting Apollo. He's fighting Neith. And one of the big things, I think, for this game, for Legion's maybe downfall, is Aduro, who is known for his unbelievable mage play, has opted into this hunter, and we have not seen him make a play yet. He has 7 assists, which is not bad, but every time he's died, he's been out of position. It just doesn't look to me like he's comfortable.
This is where Denial has looked the best, actually. The these CC chains onto a static target, right? And when the initiation's clean from Shadow Q, they get these CC chains beautifully. Double tap coming through. Panic Cat forced out of this fight. Aussie proc doesn't matter. Down he goes. Thor ultimate still available. Shing gonna re-engage onto Aduro. Aduro gonna eat this CC chain. There's the wall. Perfectly timed. The knockup with Geb as well. Just a clinic from Denial on how to lock down these wily targets.
Look at this guy. Look at that teamwork.
Perfect use of the portal there by Janus. Move Thor forward. Didn't have another wall available, unfortunately, but they are going to be able to break the base. One Phoenix will certainly fall here as Denial flexes their muscles, move forward.
That's FG to me as well. I mean, if one of them doesn't leave the base with hand 3, there's no reason not to go for it, but they're going to take the safe route. They're going to go for the Gold Fury, extend the lead a little bit, and make sure that they don't put themselves in a situation to throw, and I think that's probably their best bet.
Gold Fury. Tasty, tasty Gold Fury. They've doubled up the kills of the Legion here. 22 minutes, 30 seconds into this one. And the third Gold Fury of the game will be cleanly picked up by Denial.
And no use of Hand of the Gods there. Another really important thing is because in case they decide to go for the Fire Giant, and they are, Shadow Q's going to sniff it out, and yeah, they're going to recognize that they're rotating through the lane thanks to the Sobek seeing that. Shadow Q still having Hand of the Gods means Blink, Cataclysm, Shockwave, Hand of the Gods to clean it up.
Smart stuff for Denial there, though. I mean, that's really where, even though this team has not necessarily been the most impressive in the Pro League and was relegated down to the Challengers Cup a couple times overall, the experience and tenure of these players really showing through there to go sniff out that Fire Giant. So often we'll see teams drop that. Use the Hog 3 on the Gold Fury to secure it, try to get back and make it still for the contest, and just end up dropping that Fire Giant and leaving the window open. When you have this kind of advantage, there's always this liability in all the towers you have. If the enemy team gets that Fire Giant, is able to take 4 or 5 towers, that gold lead gets small quick.
In fact, it would mostly be eradicated. Yeah. So they got to be very, very careful, and that's what they're doing, which is smart. Also,
not so smart there, but
Mace, we saw that.
Yeah,
we saw that, man. Just be patient. Be patient. But he's level 19 right now, leading the pack overall, except for Baskin and Mace both being, Baskin and Madman both being level 20. Again, not a name I'm used to saying this split.
The junglers not put out too much damage in this game. About 8k apiece.
Usually it's the Shing and Pern show, but this has been like...
This has been the Madman Mark.
The Madman Mark show
Mad Hour
has come back. It's almost like when, like if Johnny Carson were to leave TV and then come back for a special. Right? It's just like, hey, Johnny, here's Johnny, right?
Panic Cat nearly getting soloed down again there by Xbalanque. A big crit coming out as he was trying to channel out that across the sky ultimate. And it's just going to be to go back to the Phoenix. He's forced to stay here and defend. So Global burned by Apollo. And Madman Mark with all the pressure in the world coming from the left side. Starting to rotate over slowly as the poke war is happening outside the tier 2 of the Legion. As they hold on, trying to get enough farm to fight at any point toe-to-toe here.
Now, we've seen this before. The tier 2 standoff.
Last game, yeah. The last game we called, we did see a big counter initiation in one of these situations.
This time they're going to get aggressive and smartly. Beautiful use of the globals to make sure they're going to lock somebody down, and Plaid Girl with nowhere to go is the first casualty of the fight.
Smart positioning as well to keep Sobek locked in there, nowhere to go. Cataclysm on the backside, used late to hold a couple down.
There's no running from that baby.
He's completely out of this fight.
That Frostband Hammer locking him in place. Look at this. Just nowhere to go.
4 down.
Baskin, unstoppable. And now I get to go back to my analysis that I wanted to make before he gave up First Blood. And while he doesn't have maybe the 100% builds on lock, the guy's mechanics are absolutely brilliant. He is definitely the underdog player this season for me. Oh my God, Madman Mark can't miss a shot.
He wanted just one more stack of his passive before it all was said and done, didn't he? Not that it even mattered because he already had 6, but 21 kills to 8 in 25 minutes is the score. Denial takes out the Legion of Carrots.
In a pretty dramatic fashion.
There was moments of success there. I mean, the early game went pretty good.
Right. I mean, they got First Blood. They found a great counter-initiate right at the Gold Fury to put themselves in a really great spot.
Re-initiation. Right? You initiate, get countered, then you re-initiate.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like the third fight period, right? It was like completely reset and out of nowhere. Like they turned that around, but how this started was so crazy because we talked about who was going to invade harder. In this game, it was definitely Legion of Carrots.
Invade. They got 4 assists on the board as well as they easily clean up the baby here, and it's the taunt, nicely timed.
You know, it's good because Baskin even decided to go into the 1. He didn't take his skill. He got it, decided to clear the path, but Payne was too quick on the draw, bringing him right back.
I can only expect that he will have some ward coverage this next time around.
We're gonna see some wards.
I think we'll see some wards this time for the solo lane here. But yeah, map control. The other story of this game, Madman Mark's player of the game.
I can't believe it.
He had enough map control. It's just him.
I can't believe it. Madman Mark 907. Xbalanque has seen a very large amount of success this season.
Well, it's funny, right? Xbalanque was the pick to go to overall, right? When Madman Mark was still playing, I guess. So he came back and was like, pick me Xbalanque, whatever. Let's just roll.
I think the most exciting thing to me was to see Denial show up for the first time for real this split. That's because they lose First Blood, they lose the first Gold Fury, they're down in kills, they're down by 3,000, and they gave Sylvanas a ban. They completely did everything that they don't normally do. They didn't invade. Like, this was a completely different Denial, and they brought it back with proper mechanics, good fundamentals, and they showed that they should be competing in the Pro League.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 1, 2, and 3, and 4 enough. No, just take a nap.
My question here is this Madman Mark? Can Bronx Bombers fill those shoes? Will Mark return to the roster? I mean, after the way that game went, I don't think a single person out there was like, wow, Bronx would have done better than that.
Yeah, well, as Reels would say, like a hot knife through butter. Let's take a look at map control this time for realsies, and it was dead even.
Wow, yeah, look at that. Remember, the mid camps somehow almost all going to Legion of Carrots. We very rarely see a team who is lost by 10,000 gold have that much control at the mid camp.
Yeah, I mean, well, they had most of that early game.
The first 2 camps went to them, period.
Indeed, yeah, and yeah, maybe that's more the tale of this game, right? Denial with that, Legion with that early lead, with that mid camp control, with some aggressive gods not taking any of these camps away from Denial.
And look at this, no fire giants taken by either team. This is something that I think is going to be almost exclusive to Denial, and that's if we have a 10,000 gold lead, we're not fighting for this objective. We're not going to give you a position where we're going to throw. We don't need this extra thing unless you're going to make us need it. They dive towers, they pick the right targets, and realistically what it came down to was the beautiful Xbalanque ult, causing panic at the tier 2, making sure they didn't know who was getting initiated on.
The synergy, the Xbalanque ultimate, the Thor ultimate, the Thor wall, they pick the Sobek right in the corner there, they're piling around him, nowhere to go, easy kill. Well executed. At
the beginning of this split, or at the beginning of maybe even the first part, it was almost ShadowQ leading the charge. It was ShadowQ versus the world. Yep. It seems like all the members of this team were maybe not outplaying ShadowQ, but were playing at his level in terms of CC and fundamentals and making the plays afterwards.
Yeah, I think Madman Mark, best highlight reel, and I think player of the game there, but to me it's Janus. It's Mace to the face. He won that game for them, quite literally.
The portal sending
multiple
Shing
times
forward.
we saw him reposition teammates.
Spear gun to get Madman Mark out of the fight in the beginning.
He only made one play that it was like, what are you doing?
that was a pretty bad play.
When he tried to fight Turner, it's like, what? Guys, let's go into game number 2.